Where do we come from, and where do we ultimately go? Why are the sufferings and joys of life so elusive? Why do some people live smoothly while others encounter misfortune? Why do we sometimes feel trapped, as if confined in an invisible prison? These questions may seem mysterious, yet their answers have long been revealed in the sacred wisdom of Buddhist scriptures. Shakyamuni used the theory of the three realms and the six paths to depict for the world a magnificent picture of the essence of life. This depiction not only reveals the layers of human existence, but also explores the cyclical laws of karmic rebirth for all sentient beings. In the Buddhist worldview, the three realms are the gathering place of all sentient beings, encompassing different levels of desire, matter, and intangible spirit. From human greed and suffering to the tranquil peace sought in meditation, and beyond to pure consciousness freed from material constraints, these layers constitute the multidimensional nature of the universe. The six realms represent the trajectory of the cycle of life, illustrating the different states beings find themselves in due to varying karmic forces, from the blissful realms akin to heaven to the endless suffering resembling hell. The cause and effect of good and evil deeds serve as the crucial forces determining the destiny of sentient beings. These may sound like myths, but Buddhism uses the concepts of the three realms and the six paths to teach us that behind all worldly phenomena lies a profound causal logic. The fate of every sentient being is grasped in their own hands. In this complex and thought-provoking theoretical system, we not only discover the diversity and richness of life, but also gain profound insights into the self and the cosmos. In today's video, we will explore the mysteries of the three realms and the six paths, uncovering the secrets behind samsara. If you're interested in Buddhist culture or seeking inner peace and wisdom, please subscribe to my channel to listen together to the teachings of the Dharma. Namo Amitabha Buddha. May everyone's heart arise the light of the Buddha, be filled with the joy of Dharma, and progress smoothly in cultivation. The birth of Buddhism coincided with a period of flourishing intellectual development in ancient India. At that time, the philosophical realm was filled with intense debates, with various schools of thought flourishing vividly, each attempting to explain the nature of the world through its own doctrines. While this ideological confrontation propels the development of philosophy, it also renders many issues more complex and difficult to reconcile. Amidst this chaotic soil of conflicting thoughts, Shakyamuni presented a unique wisdom, employing the middle way and the concept of no-self to resolve disputes. The middle way advocates abandoning extremes, addressing each issue with specific analysis, and impartially seeking the core of the truth. This thought is not only a philosophical balance, but also the core approach Buddhism uses to address practical issues. The concept of no trace is even more thought-provoking. When confronted with questions that are difficult to answer or beyond human comprehension, it does not force an answer, but instead temporarily sets them aside. This humble and prudent attitude enables Buddhism to engage in philosophical debates while leaving infinite possibilities for the development of thought in later generations. However, some questions are inevitably unavoidable, such as the origin of the world, the structure of the universe, and the truth of life and death. To address these fundamental questions, Shakyamuni proposed the unique worldview of Buddhism. It redefines the concept of the world from the perspectives of time and space. The Ragama Sutra metaphorically explains that time is like a river flowing from the past to the present and then to the future, while space is space, encompassing the 10 directions: east, south, west, north, above, below, and the 4 intermediate directions. Therefore, in the perspective of Buddhism, the world is not merely a space of material existence, but also a dynamic network of space-time. Based on this concept of time and space, Shakyamuni further described the structure of the world, positioning Mount Sumeru at the center of the universe and constructing around it a magnificent panorama filled with the sun, moon, and stars. In this vast universe, Buddhism categorizes the world into three realms based on the different states of life: the desire realm, Kammadhatu; the form realm, Rupadhatu; and the formless realm, Arupayadhatu. Each realm corresponds to different levels of existence of life between desire, materiality, and spirituality, thereby revealing the diversity of sentient beings' modes of existence. At the same time, Buddhism also proposes the law of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Life forms in the universe are not fixed and unchanging. Rather, they cycle through the six realms of existence. These life forms not only reflect the logic of cause and effect, but also constitute the core of Buddhist philosophy. Karma determines destiny. The destiny of every sentient being is determined by the accumulation of past actions. The seeds of virtue and vice will eventually blossom and bear fruit. The Buddhist worldview is not merely a philosophical speculation. It possesses profound practical value. Through the theory of the three realms and the six paths, Shakyamuni sought to convey to the world that the universe operates according to laws. Life is governed by cause and effect, and the joys and sufferings of life, as well as the direction of one's destiny, are all held in one's own hands. This theory not only resolved the perplexities of ancient Indian philosophy, but also offers us a new perspective to understand life and the world today. In the Buddhist endeavor, the three realms serve as the stage for all life activities and represent the different levels of existence for sentient beings. This is a grand and profound vision of life. It reveals the transformation of the state of life from desire to materiality, and then to pure spirit. In this system, every sentient being is placed at a certain level, and their position depends on the cultivation of their mind and the influence of karma. The concept of the three realms not only explains the differences in life, but also guides us to contemplate how to break free from bondage and find the path to liberation. The Jade Realm is the lowest level of the three realms and also the closest layer to us. It is called the Jade Realm because beings here are incessantly driven by desire at all times. The beings in the Jade Realm have satisfied the five desires: craving for wealth, attachment to beauty, pursuit of fame, longing for delicious food, and dependence on comfortable sleep. Additionally, Buddhism proposes another set of five desires based on the human senses. The eyes crave beautiful sights, the ears delight in the sound of the moon, the nose longs for pleasant fragrances, the tongue desires tasty flavors, and the body seeks comfortable tactile sensations. For sentient beings in the desire realm, the happiness of life originates from the fulfillment of desires, while suffering arises from the frustration of those desires. However, desire is like a bottomless abyss. No matter how hard one tries to satisfy it, ultimately, it inevitably leads to dissatisfaction and suffering. This also makes the desire realm a domain filled with struggle and suffering. The form realm is a world where desire has diminished. It transcends the attachments of the desire realm, but has not yet completely freed itself from the bondage of materiality. The beings here have relinquished their desires for male-female relationships and food, entering a state of greater tranquility. However, they're still bound by form, that is, materiality, and have not yet attained complete spiritual freedom. Beings in the form realm primarily rely on cultivating meditative concentration to enter this level. According to the varying depth of meditative absorption, jhana, the form realm, Rupadhatu, is further divided into the four jhana heavens: the first jhana heaven, the second jhana heaven, the third jhana heaven, and the fourth jhana heaven. In the first dhyana heaven, beings are freed from the coarse desires of the sensual realm and live in a state of serene purity, which is called the realm of joy freed from birth. The beings in the second dhyana heaven possess pure minds with diminished fluctuations of inner joy, yet they still cannot escape the floods at the end of the kalpa. Beings in the third dhyana heaven have transcended the fluctuations of emotions, accompanied only by tranquility and sublime joy. Upon reaching the fourth dhyana heaven, all emotions and pleasures are completely relinquished. Beings concentrate on pure virtues, attaining a state close to that of a sage. The realms of the form realm reveal the power of spiritual practice. The restraint of desire not only alleviates suffering, but also purifies and elevates the inner mind. The formless realm is the highest level of the three realms, where beings are no longer bound by material constraints and have even transcended the existence of the physical body. The formless realm is a purely subtle world where beings exist solely as consciousness, entering a deeper state of meditative absorption. According to the levels of meditation, the formless realm is further divided into four states: the realm of the base of space, the realm of the base of consciousness, the realm of the base of nothingness, and the realm of neither perception nor non-perception. In the first three heavens, sentient beings still possess certain mental activities. However, upon reaching the neither perception nor non-perception heaven, they have transcended the limitations of mental consciousness and entered a state of neither perception nor non-perception. The formless realm represents the ultimate exploration of the spiritual world, revealing the infinite possibilities that arise when one transcends materiality and desire. However, whether in the desire realm, the form realm, or the formless realm, sentient beings in the three realms cannot completely transcend samsara. Regardless of the level one inhabits, as long as one remains governed by karmic forces, one will sooner or later fall back into the cycle of birth and death. All of this profoundly reveals that the three realms are not a final abode, but merely transitional stages of existence. Buddhism teaches us that only through practice, transcending attachment to desires and material possessions, can one truly reach the other shore of liberation. The three realms are not only a description of the states of existence of sentient beings, but also a microcosm of Buddhist thought. It reminds us that the suffering and happiness of sentient beings are not accidental, but determined by the attachments and karma rooted in the mind. By understanding the structure of the three realms, we can gain a clearer awareness of our own situation and more resolutely embark on the path of cultivation, finding an outlet to freedom from the bondage of the three realms. In the Buddhist cosmology, the three realms constitute the spatial domains where sentient beings engage in activities, while the six paths represent the cyclical trajectories of rebirth that beings undergo. These six realms are like six forms of life, each bearing different life experiences. Whether it is the heavenly realm full of happiness or the hell realm of endless suffering, all sentient beings cycle continuously through the six realms of existence. This cycle is called samsara, and the direction of samsara is entirely determined by karma. The cause and effect of good and evil are like seeds taking root and sprouting, eventually blooming into different flowers. Among the six realms, the Deva realm is the most desirable and sought after. Beings in the heavenly realms possess profound karmic blessings. They reside in the blissful worlds, free from the sufferings of birth, aging, sickness, and death, experiencing only endless happiness. However, the pleasures of the heavenly realms are not entirely the same. Buddhism divides the heavenly realms into 6 levels of heavens, with celestial beings at different tiers expressing desire in distinctly different ways. In the lowest heaven of the 4 heavenly kings and the Tushita heaven, the heavens satisfy their desires in ways similar to humans. The higher one ascends, the more transcendent the life state of the heavenly beings becomes. The devas of the Yama heaven are satisfied with just a single embrace. The deities of Tushita heaven holding hands can experience immense joy. The celestial beings of Rakuten, a mere mutual smile is enough to bring contentment. At the highest level, he depicted the devas of the Deva realm, Tushita heaven, whose mere glance could convey a profound sense of bliss. This subtle and refined expression of desire demonstrates the transcendence of beings in the heavenly realms over the desire realm. However, although the heavenly path is blissful, it ultimately cannot escape the cycle of rebirth, for the merits enjoyed in the heavenly realms are bound to be exhausted. Once depleted, Celestial beings may fall into the three lower realms and endure suffering. Similar to the heavenly realms, beings in the Asura realm also possess great blessings, and in many respects, they're not different from the Devas. However, the Asuras are tormented by intense jealousy and a combative nature. They often contend with Devas due to their extreme happiness in the heavenly realms, but each time they end in defeat, suffering injuries all over their bodies. Beings in the Asura realm, although enjoying material abundance and great power, cannot attain true happiness due to inner restlessness and resentment. The Asura realm teaches us a profound truth. Even if one possesses everything, happiness remains an elusive illusion if the heart is filled with jealousy and hatred. Among the three wholesome realms, the human realm is the most unique and is also considered by Buddhism to be the most precious and rare. Compared to the realms of the Devas and the Asuras, the human realm possesses less merit and blessing. However, precisely because it is a mixture of pleasure and suffering, humans neither forget to cultivate due to excessive enjoyment, nor lose the opportunity to practice due to overwhelming pain. Birth, aging, sickness, and death are inevitable sufferings for humanity, but these sufferings awaken a clearer awareness of the impermanence of life and deepen the appreciation for the possibility of spiritual practice. Buddhism holds that only within the human realm do sentient beings truly possess sufficient wisdom and opportunity to transform their karma and seek the path to liberation. Therefore, life is called rare and precious. Once lost, it will be extremely difficult to attain again. Compared to the three wholesome paths, the three unwholesome paths are abysses of suffering. Beings in the animal realm are trapped in ignorance and foolishness, spending their entire lives being chased and driven. They lack sufficient wisdom to comprehend the Dharma and are unable to actively accumulate wholesome karma, making it difficult for them to escape the state of suffering. Beings in the realm of hungry ghosts eternally suffer from hunger and thirst due to their insatiable desires. Their images are often depicted with big bellies and small throats, unable to truly eat even when faced with abundant food. This imagery intuitively reveals the bottomless abyss of greed. The more one desires, the deeper the suffering becomes. Nevertheless, beings in the realm of hungry ghosts possess greater wisdom than those in the animal realm. They can comprehend the Dharma and transform their destiny through practice. The Hell realm is the most painful of the six realms. The sentient beings here suffer immense torment due to having committed extremely heavy negative karma. Hell is subdivided into the 8 hot hells, the 8 cold hells, the dark Avicii hell, and the isolated hell. Each realm is filled with unimaginable suffering, scorched by blazing fire, pierced by biting cold, and stabbed by sharp thorns. These scenes are not merely terrifying descriptions, but also warnings of the consequences of negative karma. Buddhism holds that hell is not an eternal existence, but the suffering beings endure there can last for tens of billions of years. In the 6 realms, life is constantly trapped in the cycle of reincarnation. Neither the bliss of the heavenly realm nor the suffering of hell is an eternal abode. All sentient beings have accumulated karma through their past wholesome and unwholesome actions, and karma acts like an invisible force that propels us toward the direction of the next rebirth. Buddhism teaches us that this cycle of rebirth is not unchangeable. As long as we plant good causes and cultivate compassion and wisdom, we can elevate our existence to higher levels and even transcend the 6 realms of samsara through practice, ultimately attaining liberation and true freedom. The cycle of the 6 realms of existence is the journey of life and a profound explanation of the Buddhist law of cause and effect. It reminds us that no matter the circumstances we find ourselves in, our destiny is always in our own hands. By understanding the 6 realms, we can not only recognize the diversity of life, but also reflect more deeply on our own actions, thereby sowing wholesome causes and progressing toward a better future. The Buddhist worldview is not only a philosophical system, but but also a practical guide for all sentient beings to cultivate the path that leads them out of suffering. The three realms and the six paths represent the levels of existence and the trajectory of samsara, but their significance goes beyond mere description. They serve to help sentient beings recognize their situation and thereby find the path to liberation. From the entanglement of desires to the bondage of materialism, and further to the entanglement of karma, Buddhism reveals a clear path of practice for all sentient beings. This path is not distant. It is intimately connected with everyone's daily life. Firstly, the revelation of the three realms marks the beginning of liberation from bondage. The desire realm reveals the true nature of desire. It is like a reflection in the water, seemingly beautiful, yet intangible. Chasing after it ultimately leads only to more dissatisfaction and suffering. Buddhism does not deny the existence of desire, but teaches people how to view it rationally. Attachment to wealth, obsession with physical beauty, and pursuit of fame are integral parts of human life. But when these desires dominate our actions, suffering inevitably follows. The first step in practice is to learn discernment and moderation, cultivating a sense of inner tranquility. This state of tranquility is called cessation of desire. Renunciation of desire is not the suppression of desires, but the transformation of them into more meaningful pursuits, such as compassion and wisdom. The insights from the form realm and the formless realm point towards higher levels of practice. In the form realm, sentient beings have transcended attachment to gender and sexual desires, yet they remain constrained by materiality. He reminds us that even if we free ourselves from obvious desires, deep-seated attachments within the heart will still form new shackles. The key to cultivation lies in meditation. Through meditation, individuals can transcend external material pursuits and enter a deeper inner world. During the practice of dhyana, meditative absorption, the fluctuations of emotions gradually subside and the radiance of wisdom begins to manifest. This is not a mystical experience, but a method to bring the mind back to tranquility. In the formless realm, sentient beings advance further, completely freed from the ties of physical matter, entering a purely spiritual state. The insight here is that the ultimate goal of practice is not to escape the world, but to liberate the mind and attain a state of unity with the cosmos. The six realms serve as a mirror for reflection, based on the law of cause and effect. The Pure Land teachings of the heavenly realm teach us that while blessings are worth pursuing, they will eventually be exhausted. The conflicts in the Asura realm remind us that jealousy and resentment only make happiness unattainable. The mixed suffering and happiness of human existence remind us that only the human realm is most suitable for spiritual practice. The ignorance of the animal realm, the greed of the hungry ghost realm, and the suffering of the hell realm serve as warnings to prevent us from falling into the abyss of unwholesome karma. In the cycle of the six realms of samsara, each realm is a projection of our mind's nature, and the influence of karma is precisely the result of past actions. Buddhist practice involves cultivating virtuous deeds and merits, allowing the trajectory of life to develop towards a higher direction, ultimately leading to liberation from the cycle of rebirth. In Buddhist practice methods, morality, sila, and concentration, samadhi, are regarded as the core path to liberation. Precepts are the guidelines for conduct and the foundation of practice. Through the precepts, we can reduce addiction to desires and avoid creating unwholesome karma. Concentration is the focus of the mind and the cultivation of the inner self. Through meditation, we can reduce emotional fluctuations and find inner peace. Wisdom is the awakening of insight, the true understanding of the nature of the world. Through the cultivation of morality, sila, and concentration, samadhi, wisdom, prajna, naturally arises, enabling one to understand the illusory nature of desires, the impermanence of material things, and the infinite possibilities of life. Dana, generosity, is another important practice in the path of cultivation. It is not only a virtuous act of helping others, but also a wisdom of renunciation. In the practice of giving, we let go of attachment to money and material possessions, while simultaneously cultivating compassion and gratitude. Generosity can be the offering of material goods or the sharing of wisdom. Through giving, we not only benefit others, but also purify our own minds. However, Buddhist practice is not limited to formal actions. It is fundamentally an inner cultivation of the mind. Buddhism emphasizes mindfulness, which is the observation and awareness of the mind. Why we get angry? Why do we experience suffering? Through mindful observation, we can identify the roots of emotions and suffering and gradually let them go. Practice is not an escape from life, but a deeper understanding of life and a transformation of our perception of the world. Ultimately, the goal of Buddhist practice is to break free from the bonds of samsara, transcend the three realms, and enter a state of complete liberation. This state is called nirvana. It is not a void, but a perfect enlightenment. In nirvana, sentient beings transcend birth and death and are liberated from all suffering, entering a state of eternal peace and joy. Buddhism teaches us that nirvana is not something distant or unattainable, but a state that everyone can achieve. As long as we diligently practice, starting from every action and every thought in daily life, the path to enlightenment lies right beneath our feet. From the three realms to the six paths, from karma to cultivation, the Buddhist worldview is not only a grand vision of thought, but also a practical guide to transforming destiny. It reveals to us that fate is not unchangeable, but rather is held in our own hands. Through practice, we can not only find inner peace, but also rewrite the trajectory of our lives, moving toward the culmination of freedom and enlightenment. The wisdom of Buddhism is a guiding light, illuminating the meaning of life and bringing boundless hope to the future of every sentient being.